All right, so when I say Hartford Whalers, what's the first thought that comes to your mind?
Oh, great memories. The 86 playoffs, the 87 playoffs, just the players of all of that era and even beyond, and the passion of the fan base. Those are the couple things that I come to the forefront of my mind on it.
What's it like when you guys all get together? Whalers weekend coming up here at the Dunk, but when you guys all, is it like click like you're back in the early 90s, late 80s, or is it taking some getting used to squint your eyes to recognize everybody?
Well, that's a good question because in some cases that's true. Where you look at somebody and say, "Are you really Mark Jansen's?" Well, I can't miss Mark. Or are you really Andre Lacroix? And of course, as soon as he opens his mouth, you know it is him now. But in all respect, it's really kind of easy to remember everybody, and I'm kind of looking forward to it too because there are going to be a lot of new players coming in. We're going to see Kevin Dineen for the first time in the 6-year history of this Whalers weekend by the Yardgoats. We're going to see Pat Boutette, who was part of the 79-80 and 80-81 Whalers. He played with Blaine Stoughton and Mike Rogers for all the long-time Whaler fans that remember Stash, Bash, and Dash, as they were called, for various reasons, and you could figure out who was who. Boutette was Bash. I'll just give you that clue. But there are going to be a lot of guys. I mean, it's great to see everybody, and this is why, when we make that hospital visit on Friday to St. Francis Hospital, who is the major sponsor of the event, we're always happy to see fans. I mean, I'm so old now that the doctors were teenagers when they used to listen to the games in Hartford. So, but it'll be a great weekend. I'm really looking forward to it.
Talking to Chuck Kaiton. He will be here with the Hartford Whalers. Whalers weekend for the Yardgoats coming up this week. 39 years between the Whalers and the Carolina Hurricanes. You saw so many great players come through here. Who do you look forward to when you come back here for the week? I know the fans love all the Whalers, but for you, maybe some of the older guys?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing Patty Boutette. I haven't seen him in a long time. Stuart Gavin, who was part of, here's another acronym for you guys, the leg line of Lawless, Evison, and Gavin. We're trying to get Dino here. I think next year will be a good year for Dean Evison. He, of course, is the coach of the Minnesota Wild right now. And Stewie Gavin, who is now a financial planner for a lot of NHL players today. He's coming in from Toronto. But I love seeing all the guys, really. I mean, I really am looking forward to seeing Kevin. He's a link to the successful days of the 80s. So when we have that luncheon on Saturday morning, which is going to be about 11 o'clock at the Dunk, where people can buy tickets for the Yardgoat Foundation, they're going to be able to mingle with all these guys at 11 o'clock on Saturday the 22nd, this Saturday. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So I would advise people to get their tickets for that by going to yardgoatsbaseball.com or go to their social media page, which I'm not used to. I'm an old-timer. I'm an unsocial person, so I don't go on social media myself. So that's going to be fun. But it's great to see all those guys, as I hope you guys will even maybe make it down, because I haven't seen either of you in a year, or probably in a longer time with Robbie.
Chuck, we know about the Hurricanes honoring the Whale a couple of times a year with their jerseys. Our minor league teams, Yardgoats included, honor the Whale all the time. We play Brass Bonanza more than any other market in the United States, probably anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
But what is it like outside those two little circles of the Whalers? Does the brand get recognized in other places, in other hockey towns, and with younger hockey fans?
Yeah, actually it does. And you can't forget the Boston Red Sox either, because they play it, I think, when a Red Sox hits a home run, they play the Whaler theme song at Fenway Park from time to time. But I've been told, and I think we've gone over this maybe once or twice before in our discussions, that the Whalers memorabilia, which is still licensed to the National Hockey League, because Peter Karmanos gave the rights to the NHL when the team left, so they still market licensed material with the Whalers logo, and it's like the fifth or sixth best-selling jersey, hat, whatever you will, in the NHL among all of all the items that they sell through NHL Enterprises. I don't find that too surprising because I think it was a real sharp and innovative logo with the H and the W and then the whale fluke in the middle of it. You had the H for Hartford, the W from the whale tail. It was just a creative logo, and it's really going, as you say, it's being displayed. I mean, they're selling it out like crazy down here in Carolina, too, probably much to the chagrin of fans that wish the team was still there in Hartford. But it sells really well, and it is still, I mean, it's all about the memories, and I think it's an age gone by, guys. I think a lot of it is because nobody ever really thought that Hartford could be a major league town of any time in sports, and the Whalers really proved that it could be. And unfortunately, because of the economics of the game, it drove it out. But it was great. We were a big little town that everybody gravitated and knew the players. They were in the community. And I think that's what makes it so special.
Talking to Chuck Kaiton, 39 years between the Whalers and the Carolina Hurricanes. When the Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup, he is known as saying at the end of the game that we've been waiting for 9,393 days of frustration, and on the 9,394th day of the NHL existence, the Carolina Hurricanes Whaler organization until '97 have won the Stanley Cup. Do you remember that?
Absolutely, I do, and I even remember the numbers, and I actually went and figured it all out back from, of course, my start date was October 11th of 1979, and all the way through to June 19th of 2006, as you guys just mentioned, and there was a span of, like you said, over 9,300 days, so I wanted, when I did that, it was, I don't like to prepare any kind of comments. I mean, you let the moment move you when it comes to big times, when you're broadcasting big events. And I've done Michigan football. I've done some other things outside of Whalers hockey. But you never get a chance in the moment to do something special, to do something of a tribute. And that tribute to me, going back to day one of 1979 in the NHL, was a tribute to the fans who followed this team and who had the heartbreak of losing that team in April of '97. So I wanted to do something to commemorate all the people, whether they cared or not, if the Carolina Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup, if they were bitter or not. I still wanted to make sure I acknowledged the great following we had in Hartford for those 18 NHL seasons.
Very classy.
Chuck, you're going to get this all weekend. You probably get it every time we have a Whalers weekend in Hartford. But this time, I don't know, there might be some more juice behind this question. Now, Dibs brought it to Mayor Bronin. Our governor's weighed in. Everybody's behind it. Chuck Kaiton, the Arizona Coyotes may be moving towns. Could it come back? Could the Whale go back to Hartford, or is that ship sailed and everybody should forget the dream?
Well, you know what? I have to answer that in two ways, with my head and with my heart. My heart says I wish it would happen. My head says I don't think it will. Not to throw cold water on it. I mean, anything's possible. But here's what's going to happen. As I know Gary Bettman, the commissioner of the National Hockey League, extremely well, and I know he would say this if he were on your show right now. Get us a building, get us corporate support,
right.
Sell about 100 boxes in that new building, sell about 15,000 season tickets, and then come and talk to me. I mean, that's the bottom line in this day and age. That's why I alluded to the fact that the economics of the game have changed so much. For example, I would have never thought that the owner of the Carolina Hurricanes, Tom Dundon, would ever spend to the cap, which is now a little north of $83 million a year. Now, I know that dwarfs Major League Baseball by a lot, or the NFL, but $83 million in hockey is quite, that's the ceiling on the salary cap going into next season. And it's only going to go up as revenues do with the salary cap structure that they have in the NHL. So, can it be supported? I suppose it could be, but boy, I'll tell you what, those are kind of the hurdles that would have to be undertaken and jumped over before anybody can think of it, of a team relocating. Because the last thing I'll say on it, knowing Bettman as I do, If you'll recall, under his tenure, we had the movement of those three of those four WHA teams within a 3-year period. You had Winnipeg moving to Arizona in the first place.
Right.
You had the Quebec Nordique moving. They were the first ones to actually move when they went in '95 to Colorado. It became the Avalanche. And then, of course, you had the Whalers moving to North Carolina. And then you've only had one relocation since under Bettman's tenure, and that was in 2011 when the ill-fated Atlanta Thrashers were moved to Winnipeg because there was more interest in Winnipeg. So, listen, if it can come back to Winnipeg, yeah, I suppose it could come back to Hartford, and wouldn't it be ironic that it would be the old Winnipeg Jets that would move there?
Chuck, always a pleasure to talk to you, sir. I wish I could be there. I got games this weekend as AAU coach that I am, but maybe next year. Maybe next year I can carve out some time. I would love to see it. Thank you, Chuck.
Absolutely. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it very much, and I want to see everybody out there not only at the Yardgoats field for the night game, but be there for that luncheon because this is where you're going to really get to hobnob with the players. 11 o'clock Saturday, all right, at the old ballpark. Thanks, guys.